All right. Hey, Rick, how you doing?
I'm right. Can't complain.
David, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm doing well. Good to
Good.
see everybody.
Very.
Dog's doing well?
Dog. Yeah,
Dog.
we're down to one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, you always know it's coming. Sometimes quicker though. We have lost four since we've been up here.
Oh, goodness.
So,
Wow.
but,
Were they all older? Older? I mean,
one very old. I mean for 17 or 18,
oh, that's pretty old.
and the other ones got things like Cushing's, which I had never heard of before. So yeah.
What kind of dogs are they?
Uh, all mini dachshunds. The one we have left is half and half. We think she's mini dachshund and Chihuahua, so she's either Doxy Wawa or a Chiweenie, a Chiweenie.
I like the Chiweenie. Oh,
Fun to
Chiweenie.
say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chewini, that's good. Yeah.
Chiweenie.
Yeah. Sounds like a Mexican dish. You know.
All right. Well, unfortunately, Mike died. And
Yeah.
thank you, Ken, for being a great guy and helping him.
Yeah.
I'm sure that meant a lot to
Well, it was,
have visit a bit. That's so good.
he was such a multifaceted guy. He had his set of friends from the washboard world, and he had a set of friends from Your Father's Mustache who weren't in the washboard world. And then he had a set of friends. He was active in other bands here and stuff. And so it was interesting that, I talked to him. I said, well, yeah, come on down, but you can't come until so and so because I got this guy coming and that guy coming. And so I think it was nice, and he had so many friends that there was quite a bit of time that he wasn't alone. And I've never been in his situation, so I don't know what I really would like. But my theory is that I would like to have people there often, but not too often, because you know when I had the heart surgery, people came to visit. I really don't want to talk right now. I
Yeah.
kind of just want to lay here and listen to music and not have to engage anything. So there
Mhm.
were times that he told me, he said, "You got to go now." And I said, "Hey,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm the one that can go. You can't." So I'll be delighted to. So,
Mhm.
but
They, you said they just don't feel like talking when you've had surgery or not or real sick or whatever. Where was this one?
This was in Brussels, I
Oh,
think.
wow.
The Red Lion Pub.
Oh,
And then there's another one from there. Let me get that one up.
yeah.
Uh, Come on. I get so slow at this. This, this is
That's
another
like
one
yeah.
from Red Lion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they had one or two, huh? Look at
Well, yeah.
I'm glad we had bigger tables than that to serve people on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had
that's right.
a lot of beer there.
Yeah.
Big beer.
Yeah. Yeah, you remember the foreigners would come in, we'd try to sell them those. I want big beer. Give me big beer.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Remember one night the guys came in and I brought them a pitcher. They go, "We want big beer," so I brought a pitcher of beer and two glasses. They went, "No, each want big beer,"
Right.
and they didn't even use the glasses. They just
Yeah, that's what
had
I
been
was
down
talking about.
for like
I
six
remember
months.
that.
They
I remember that a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Out of snake.
Hello, Snake.
Howdy.
Hey,
Good to
Snake,
see
what's
you.
going on, man? Good to see you.
Good night, Mike. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We
Yep.
hear you. We see you.
Hey,
We're good to go. Yeah.
Here's a
good.
rehearsal one,
Oh, yeah.
That was a Carnegie rehearsal, huh?
I think.
Yeah.
Hey, Billy, in that file I sent you, there's a subfolder that's got about 15 or 20 rehearsal photos that I forgot I had.
Okay. Yeah, I think I have this one in your folder actually. That just sent me.
Yeah, it could be. I sent Tom some and you some, and then I found that folder on a different flash drive last night or yesterday, whatever day it was. I sent those.
Well, Mike had a good your father's mustache.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what else we got.
So I got this one. It has a. This was at Barry when y'all all opened for the Kingston Trio.
That's right, in Oklahoma City.
Right.
There's Mike. That's
Mike, and Snake's so tall he can see him easy. That's good.
Can't hide.
So all you guys played all these guys played in front before the Kingston Trio?
Right.
Wow. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. Very.
That's a good sized band.
Chris.
Was Gim, Danny,
Peter Babcock.
Chris.
yeah, Chris on the far side, I see. Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah.
H, the guy that was on last week.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. Joan. The group there.
Bruce O'Neill.
Yeah.
Yeah, Peter.
Chris Fenimore.
Yeah, I
Gene,
remember.
Gene LeBeau with the hat on.
Yeah.
Joe Petroselli right next to Gene.
Yeah.
Ted Turner. And of course, Mike Johnson in the back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then H.
Is that H Barry?
Yeah, that's H straight in the back next to Johnson.
Right. Yeah.
Next to Mike Johnson is H. His name is Harold Johnson, no
Yeah.
relation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you got Joel and then LeBeau.
Yeah, Joel and LeBeau. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that at concert. I was in a class in Dallas, and I was wrapping up. I think the day of that, and Danny was in touch with me. He says, "Just drive on up to Oklahoma City. It's about 3 hours." you know, you know. But it really wasn't because I was going to visit some friends in Denton, which is only about 35 miles north of Dallas, and it took me 2 hours to get there. They were doing all kind of construction on the road. I told them I didn't think I'd be able to make it. No, I was right. So but it would have been cool if I could have swung up there.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, here's a nice one at the
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've seen this a bunch of times, but
Mike and Peter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good old Peter Babcock.
Yeah.
The numbers are dwindling.
Now what club did Peter Babcock play in?
Well, I don't know for sure, but I know he was escorted people through the wine country.
He mostly did Cape Cod, a little bit New York, but Cape Cod and show band stuff.
Oh, okay. Mike looked very happy there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all three do. I love those kind of mugs. I like those Pilsner mugs too to drink a beer out of.
Oh yeah.
I would hate to have tried to carry 12 of them though.
That's true.
The handles came in nice.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've decided to wear my Hawaiian shirt tonight too. I figured you were going to have yours on.
That's right.
Yeah. Another one of Mike's.
That was one of his favorites.
Mm-hmm. I think I have a picture of him wearing that.
Yeah, I think it's in his obituary picture, I think.
That's it. Yeah, I saw one. I think that was it. Yeah, I see it. I have it right over here. Let's see. Yeah, let me see. I can pull that up.
Yeah.
That's a great shot there.
Good shot. Yeah, good shot.
The washboard looks a little shiny though. I mean, usually
Yeah, it does.
every time I've seen a washboard, they usually don't shine up that like it looks like it must have been fairly new.
Or he washed the washboard.
Good. Yeah.
Doesn't seem like it would sound as good if it was that shiny. They're supposed to be all beat up, aren't they?
Peter Babcock's was always.
Yeah.
Now, doesn't somebody have the guy from New York's one?
And they have Joe Terra's is
Joe Terra?
somewhere, and Peter Babcock's.
I think Mike said and I could have imagined this because we covered a lot of territory on my visits, but I think he said he gave about 200 items to the Rocky Mountain Music Museum. And I think one of the things that he had was Joe Terra's washboard, I think. And I could be Kent's hallucination, but I believe he said that he did that. He gave him a lot of things, like 200 items. That's quite a bit.
Quite a bit. Yeah, that's nice.
But I have not been there to verify my memory.
Is that in Denver?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Denver.
There's Mike and Pete.
Yeah.
Both deceased.
Yep. Is there a funeral for him?
No, he did not want a service. So there's no service. His obituary and stuff is up on at Newcomer funeral home, whatever it is. He's got his obituary there, and there's some listings to some other places. But yeah, he did not want a service, so he was cremated.
Yeah, well, if the obituary you sent us, I put that on the invitation this week. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. You put the link to that little radio.
yeah, that was pretty cool that guy did that.
Mhm.
Yeah, they were good friends.
Yeah.
And in that, he gave I think his obituary, there's a link to it. There was the address of the Rocky Mountain Music Museum, in case anybody is in Denver and wants to go, or somebody is visiting Denver, or somebody that lives there. I have not been there yet, but I intend to go. Just haven't done it.
Hamden and Federal.
I'm sorry?
I say it's the address is around Hamden and Federal.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Near downtown.
It's a good picture, Mike.
Yeah, there's the washboard looking a little more played on.
That's a good looking picture. I like that.
Yeah, it's a good. Still do the oxygen by this time. That's right.
Oh yeah. Now, when I was looking back at the pictures Kent sent and all that, like some of them had dates, and like it was back in 2016. I think he had the oxygen under his nose in some of the pictures. So he's been needing it for quite a while, I think.
Yeah, his
Hey,
is a COPD.
Yeah, but
you get progressively worse. Hey, his sister sent me something. Let me just read it. He had a friend whose name was Dennis Eccles, who was a longtime friend. So found this when he Googled Mike's name, and she said AI created this. So Mike Johnson is a musician known for his passion and dedicated to the washboard as a musical instrument. Here's what makes Mike Johnson notable in the washboard world. He was a washboard enthusiast. He's a strong advocate for the washboard and its role in various musical genres, particularly old-time and traditional music. He was the founder of Washboards International, an organization dedicated to promoting and celebrating the washboard as a musical instrument, organizing washboard gatherings. He's been instrumental in bringing washboard players together for concerts and musical gatherings, fostering a sense of community among enthusiasts. not just a novelty. Johnson emphasizes the washboard as a legitimate musical instrument with its own unique sounds and rhythmic possibilities, not just a novelty or a visual prop. In conclusion, Mike is a key figure in the world of washboard music, known for his passion, promotion, and organization of events related to this unique instrument. That's what AI conjured up when he did a search. So,
Oh, darn.
oh, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
Pretty good synopsis of the washboard world.
Yeah, I showed this. I found this on Mike's on his Facebook page. We've never shown it on here before. Somebody had done a sketch of him when he was a waiter, I guess, in Colorado.
Oh,
Because the little caption, if you can't read it down the bottom, says Mike Johnson. It looks like it says 9/1970. Mary Lou Cavalier or Cavalier, I think, signed it. But I'm assuming he might have been a waiter there. Somebody mentioned that he worked as a waiter, bartender, and all
Yeah.
before he was a washboard player. Or maybe
Mustache kept the hanging from the ceiling.
Yep.
yeah. All right. Nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
That's nice. Nice little picture.
Mike was funny. Mike told me that when he was coming back from Brussels after working there, it cost $3 to get earphones on the plane to listen to the movie, and he didn't have $3. So I think he gave it to him instead.
Sounded like a financially successful trip to Brussels.
Yeah.
He was. I missed him in Brussels, but he was there before I was. But
How many of you guys went to Brussels? Oh, okay. Snake was there.
Mike, of course.
Yeah, that must have been quite an experience.
it was.
What'd you say, LeBeau?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
we can see
Yep.
you.
Now we can see you too.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I said, how many of you guys went to Brussels?
I didn't know about mustache then.
Yeah, Snake went, and
I went there.
Mike Gentry went.
I went there for business, but wound up at the mustache.
I can imagine that must have been an interesting experience.
Yeah, it was. Gates Rubber, my employer, had a factory there in Brussels, and I was over there installing a new computer.
Huh.
Wound up. It was right off the Grand Place in Brussels, and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I never made it to Belgium. I lived in Paris for a short while. But
yeah,
That was all.
I was in Brussels for about 6 months.
uh-huh. Wow. Yeah, good old Mike. You know, he was instrumental with Joe Petrocelli in keeping the Mustache Band going. And I ended up working with Joe and the Mustache Band over the years. As a matter of fact, I played with him just last summer at the Evergreen Jazz Festival, which was cool. There he is. Oh, with Mike. Who's that, Peter?
Peter
Peter
Babcock.
Babcock,
Yeah, oh yeah.
Gentry.
Oh.
Was that the Denver Club?
Mm,
No,
hmm. I don't think so. I don't
no,
remember
it
that.
wasn't. It wasn't.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, we have so many pictures.
Oh, that might have been the reunion, huh? That they had
I was just going to say, I think it's a reunion,
Yeah.
87.
Okay. Because some of the signs didn't look right. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say we have a bunch of pictures of Peter Babcock, but I'll tell you what, most of them look different.
Each one looks different.
Look different. I was surprised when I saw Peter Babcock on this one. I said, "Oh, wow, dark hair."
You can't miss that smile in those eyes. That's a nice photo.
Yeah.
Hey, anybody find out how Mike did with the storms last week? Gentry?
He hasn't checked in. I mean, I don't know if anybody talked to him.
So it looks like we have Mr. AJ Trent. Do I know AJ?
RJ.
Yeah,
RJ.
Richard,
Yeah,
Richard.
Oh, that's Richard. Hey, Richard. I recognize you with the hat on.
Well, the reason I have a hat on is I had surgery
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
yesterday, and now I have a pyramid on the top of my head. And so the hat is merely
Is that for brain expansion
an
or?
artifice.
yeah, yeah, okay, yeah.
It was a downward growing squamous,
Oh,
and they took it out, and by Mohs surgery, they take various slices and then decide when they have enough. So that's the second and last one, I trust.
I hope so.
Congratulations.
Richard,
Yeah, good.
we're doing a little memorial meeting for our friend Mike Johnson, who was part of this, and he died. So we're doing.
Yeah, that's why I especially wanted to get on. My whole computer operation was down, so I'm a little late, and wanted to be sure to be in
Hey, Chris.
for my
Chris.
Chris.
Hey, did.
yeah. Well, always great to have you. Glad to have you, Richard.
glad to be here.
Good luck with your head.
Yeah. Here's an old
My
picture.
girlfriend said before the bed broke.
Here's an old one from the Sunrise Playhouse.
Yeah.
Bunch of old timers. There's Mike, upper right hand corner,
Yep.
and Peter, and Barry, the young lady, the lady's name who plays the washboard.
Danny.
Hey,
Danny Sullivan, right? I should have remembered that. Little Ira
Gundle.
and Joel. I know Gim, but I'm not sure about the tuba player or the guy behind Joel.
Young.
Who's that washboard
What year
player in
was that?
front of the tuba player?
Don't know.
The washboard.
The guy with the yellow hat on behind Joel.
Yeah, I don't know who that
Know
is.
who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What year was that? Approximately.
I think this was in 89 or 90. I have the video to it that Mike had sent me a long time ago. I broke it up into little clips, but it doesn't have credits on it, so it doesn't really have people's names.
Well, Joan's in the background there.
Hi, Joel.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Chris.
How you doing, guys?
Who'd say Chris?
Doing well.
A little late today. I lost track of time.
All right. We're glad you show up. Okay, this is Mike, Bob Adams, Peter Babcock, Mike Johnson, Logan, Ohio, something.
2009. Right.
Well, I tell you what, there they are, those personalities. I'd recognize those faces anywhere.
Now, Bob Adams played banjo, right?
Yeah.
Played banjo, and he led the show band for many years. His voice was perfect for mustache music. He sure could. He was a great, I would call him a saloon singer.
And is he still alive?
No, he's passed.
Chris, you knew him, huh? You knew
Yeah,
Bob.
I knew Bob.
Yeah. Don't you think he was a good singer? He had the timbre and his voice was perfect.
You got it right on the head, Barry. He's a saloon singer.
Right, saloon singer.
Okay.
You know, he and Yoakum, they had that down.
Yep.
Steve Yoakum, saloon singers.
So, Barry, I never got to see the Bob be a saloon singer. What in his voice makes him different than, I heard you primarily and Mike and a few others, Les Muscat, a few others in New Orleans. What makes a saloon singer?
You got me. I don't know. I can't explain it.
Let's go when you hear it.
Yeah, right, Chris. You know?
Oh yeah.
How do you explain that? I mean, we all were saloon singers. All of us that sang at the Mustache were saloon singers, but I would say this guy you're looking at, Bob Adams, and with Steve Yoakum, they were saloon singers.
Yeah,
Joe Terra was not a good singer, but everybody loved it because the way he put over a song.
Yeah,
was different than being a saloon singer.
He was just a great entertainer.
Right.
But I know what you're talking about is a certain approach to a song, a timbre, a sort of an acting out of the song that brings it alive, and those guys could do it.
Right. A guy, the way I think of a guy who you hear him singing, you say his best song would be Ace in the Hole. A guy that can sing Ace in the Hole perfectly, he's a saloon singer.
Yep.
I would say the guy that can project a song to the FAC crowd at the Mustache on a Friday night and make them laugh and enjoy the song.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's hard. Yeah. That's a hard one.
Because you got to be, in other words, you got to be part of the crowd and not just, somebody who walked in off the street.
Was Bob Adams, was he the one that you said used to kind of give Christine hell?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And Bob Adams, the guy we look at, he was my first band leader. I was sent up to the show band. He was the leader of the show band. And we went to rehearsal for a week before we went on the road. And I guess he's the one that taught me,
I'm still juggling the idea of rehearsing a Mustache band.
Well, it was the show band.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Show band with vocals and dances and lines and stuff like that. I mean, we did regular sets too, but we had 2 or 3 sets that were pretty much a scripted deal.
You probably did the scripted ones early before you could still remember the lines, huh?
Right.
Okay, now he looks like he's having a good time.
Must have been the reunion, huh?
Yeah, that was the first reunion. Yeah.
Bill.
Like Big Bill.
They got the names at the bottom of the photo there.
Oh, there they are. Bill Higbee.
Is this you,
Oh,
Ken?
Kent, is that you all the way on the left?
What it says.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Who's
Ken
the girl?
McBride, Mike Johnson, Big Bill Sawyer, and Bill Higbee.
And who's the girl?
Doesn't say.
Oh.
He was anonymous, probably.
She just happened to be standing there, and they stood around her.
We were so
Higbee
shy.
Wasn't Higbee the left-handed player?
Yeah.
Yes. He was my first band leader when I was in New Jersey. I had Barry Rank and Bill Higbee. And
What did you?
Him? How
Who
you
did
doing,
you?
Kim?
Who did you make angry? Yeah,
probably Barry Rank.
well, that's easy to do.
Yeah, well, Barry knew I didn't know a lot of songs on the trombone, And so you had to play 5 hours a night. So he'd ask me if I knew a song. Of course, I knew the tuba line. I said, no. He said, okay, I'll play the first chorus tonight. You play the second chorus. Tomorrow night, you play the first chorus. So that's why in 3 months, I learned all the repertoire because Barry kept saying, you got it.
Well, it looked like Mike was having a good time there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all didn't drink beer or anything, did you?
No.
No.
Or anything.
Not a drop.
Not a drop.
Hi, Jim.
How you doing, Snake? What's up?
Oh, there they are. That's that looks like it's in Colorado.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, had to be.
Joe's got his police badge on, so
Petrocelli.
Yeah.
yeah. Petrocelli was a tuba player to start out with, and I sold him my tuba when I switched to trombone, and then he switched to banjo.
And
And
Mike,
Mike Gentry was a tuba player who switched to banjo. So
That's
you never
fun.
know.
I'll never know. Do one. Funny.
Petrocelli played tuba with the Denver group at Carnegie.
Yeah, and that big silver tuba that he played on, that was the one that I sold him that I had in college. And
Oh.
he would not sell it back to me no matter what. He still
Oh.
got it. The thing's an 1890 Cervini tuba. It's a wonderful instrument.
Terrific.
Here's another one.
Oh, yes.
Oh, there's Peter again. And
Peter
Joel.
Babcock, Danny Sullivan, Mike Johnson, Joel Aaron
Aaron Babcock.
Babcock, Joan Dragon, Lenny.
Yeah.
Persona.
I don't know. But there they are.
He's familiar, but I can't tell you who it is, though.
the guy behind Joel, who's that?
The tag on it said Lenny Kassonen.
No, Lenny's next to Joan.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy in the back is Peter's son, Aaron.
Oh, that's who it is. You're right.
Aaron Babcock.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had another picture with Aaron in it, with Peter some other place. I remember seeing it.
That has to be at Modus, I'll bet, from the size of the tent.
Where?
At Modus, where we used to do the Connecticut Festival.
Oh,
So who's next to Joel? Is that one of his wives?
Oh, that's Joan.
That's
Joe Dragon.
Joan Dragon.
Oh, that's Joan Dragon there. Okay.
Yep.
oh, it says the Great Connecticut International Jazz Festival on Joel's T-shirt.
Yeah, great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got one of those somewhere.
Well, Joan's still alive, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joan still runs the
Florida.
festival down in Florida.
Yeah.
Clearwater. Yeah.
She still runs the Wildflower Cafe too.
That's it. Yep.
And how about Peter's T-shirt? Washboards International. That was
It's Mike's, that's Mike's organization, isn't it?
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
Okay, let's see what else we've got.
You've been busy, Tom.
That's the other picture.
I
That,
spent about an hour trying to find everything I had.
that's the other picture with Peter's son in it. I remember we had one of those.
Peter Shea. Hard to recognize him.
Didn't Peter's son take the photos at Carnegie Hall?
Did he?
Tom Wolfe shot a lot of them. I don't know if
Yeah, but we were trying to figure out who the other person was so we could try to get the pictures.
I
Oh.
think it was Babcock's son that took those really good big pictures of the band on stage at Carnegie Hall.
Oh, that was Tom.
No, that was me.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, sorry about that, Tom.
But I think Aaron, but there was somebody in the, when we were down in the hotel, and he's in a lot of our pictures, taking pictures.
Yeah, and I
So
kept asking, who was that guy with the
to
photo?
figure out who he was, so we could try because we were trying to. I was asking Emily if Joel had the pictures.
Yeah, I wonder where this was taken. I can't read the. Let me see the.
I think that hotel in New York.
Was that for the? No, it had some. They had. Let's see what these. Can't
What's
see what,
on the blue badge?
I'm trying to read the things.
It says musician.
Does it say on the top of it what it is? What festival they're playing or what event it was?
Some kind of bash. Let's see if I can go in on it. Jazz bash by the
Santa Rosa.
band jazz bash by the something.
Dixieland.
It says Santa Rosa, I believe.
Monterey.
Oh no, you're right. Jazz Bash
Yeah.
by the bay.
It says Monterey Bay.
Monterey.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nice piece of real estate, that.
Yeah, that's Peter's territory.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, Jim.
Oh,
Jim Calm. Okay. He used to get on with us a while.
Hey,
yeah,
Jim.
Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Hey,
Oh, Jim.
Jim. So we're everybody's telling Mike Johnson stories. Do you have anything that you wanted to add? Jim, do you have any recollections of Mike Johnson playing with him, or stories?
I think he's got his mic on.
Oh, okay. You might not be hearing. Okay.
Well, here's another picture at the reunion, the '87 reunion.
Peter with dark hair. Gentry, Mike Gentry without a beard.
There's Fred Hendricks in the background.
Hendricks.
Oh, yeah.
That was quite an event.
That was
So much different than
Mike Gentry while he was working at Disney World. He couldn't have facial hair.
That's right.
I guess he couldn't have gray hair either because he doesn't have gray hair.
Huh.
So that was what, 38 years ago?
Good night, Willie.
87.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a lot of fun. That was the best one, man.
I
Oh
agree.
yeah.
We all were young. That's why it was the best one. We were still young.
Well, that venue and that old theater was just perfect for us.
Yeah.
That big
And
stage.
it was
and
a
all.
3-day. Yeah, it was a 3-day event that was so fun. It was so different. The first night was the little bar, and then it was four big events, and then it's the outdoor thing, and the Silver State Theater, whatever it was, and then brunch the next day. It was like a perfectly orchestrated. Joel did such an incredible job, and it was so different. But the Carnegie, I don't know about you guys, but just to be in Carnegie Hall is, I got a whole bunch of pictures that I found that I took of pictures of people who had played there. It's like a sacred place.
Yeah.
If you look at the Beatles and the whole wall, you go, holy crap! I'm standing here in this, and you guys with musicians were playing in that. So it felt like a cathedral of some in a good way, and a sacred spot to me.
There we were, lined up.
That was in Punta Gorda.
Yeah, there's Dennis and Mike
It
and
says
Petrocelli,
Union
Peter
Band.
Babcock,
Joe,
Johnson. They got a lot of Denver crew in that shot.
Yeah.
Cadre?
Who's that banjo player next to Barry?
That's
Can't think of his name.
Ed Ed
Yeah.
Ed something.
Yeah,
Cuneo, Ed Cuneo.
Ed Cuneo. You're right.
Yeah.
And Cadre behind him.
Yep, Cadre and Mike,
Yep.
Peter,
Chris.
Joe Petrocelli.
And all the way to our left is Dr. Dalton Diamond. Washington.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's Chris standing behind Joel.
Yep.
Classic shot.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're getting kind of low on my list now.
Jim, you got your mic on?
Can you hear me?
There.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, good to see you, Snake.
Good to be seen.
Hey, no matter where you go, there you are. I'm over here.
I've got a mustache story for you if you're interested.
Sure.
Sure.
Back in my early days, in my 20s, playing at the Denver Mustache, Bill Clark was on tuba, Mike was on banjo, Dennis was on side banjo, and I was on trombone. And, across the street from the Denver club, there was a Rathskeller bar. And of course, when we would play for the beer chugging contest, the band would play da 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 da, as we're marching off the stage.
Yeah.
Right, Colonel Bogey in A flat, which was not my favorite key. So somehow we marched off the stage. We went back and put our horns away. Then, of course, we went across the street to drink because they were going to have the beer chugging contest. And apparently that was my Southern Comfort days. And I was told later that I had about 4 shots of Southern Comfort and went across the stage, and they were still doing the chugging contest. So I came back and had a couple of doubles because I didn't have time to drink another 4. And then we marched. We marched back up on the stage and started playing. And apparently, I passed out standing up, leaning against the piano. And of course, the band was making jokes about it the whole time. I was just standing there, and finally, I came to in the middle of a song and started playing, and the band stopped, and they're just laughing, and I didn't know why they were laughing. I didn't know that they'd been playing away for 20 minutes. And then later, for some reason, we started one of our medleys, and it was the same key, 3 songs in the same key. And I played the beginning of the first song and went to the bridge of the second song and played the third part of the third song and thought we'd done all of them. Suddenly we go out and Mike turns around and we said, "Man, that's the shortest medley I've ever played in my life." But Mike Johnson was around there somewhere for sure. I think that's when he was still a waiter. Oh, God.
Anybody in the New York club or who was familiar with the New York club remember a waiter, and then he became one of the managers, I think, down on the Jersey Shore, Justin Orecchio?
I don't remember Justin.
I don't remember him either.
He was one of the Fordham guys.
The Fordham guys.
Yeah, there were a couple that from Fordham. They're the ones who told me that I should get a job as a waiter down there because they were already working. One was Mike, and then the other one was Justin, and then there was Peter, somebody. I can't remember. There's Mike and I.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
Yeah, it is.
That's a good shot. Yeah.
Yeah, Laura had a conference in Denver, so I just tagged along, and Mike and I just, I met him someplace, and that was it. He took me all over the place. We went to the his favorite, the Bush and Barrel or whatever it was, the
Bull and Bush.
Bull and Bush.
Bush
Yeah.
for lunch, and then we went up to his cabin up in the mountains, and we couldn't get in. There was 4 feet of snow up there, blocking the
St.
door.
Mary's Glacier.
And but it was just great to see him again after the Carnegie stuff and whatnot. So, but he was terrific. He was just a wonderful host and very gracious and generous.
Yeah, that's the way he was.
Yeah.
Tom said that he put Kent and Tom up for a while, didn't he? In Denver, went up.
Yeah, we stayed in his apartment, and you look out the window, and there was a huge Coca-Cola sign, neon sign. It was great.
That's right.
Did it flash on and off?
Yeah, it did. It was.
So Tom, remember, we met Mike and Mardi Gras, and then when we were taking off on our van on traveling, we stopped in Denver for that time. We worked at the Denver Club, which was so different, the same but different in the New Orleans Club. And I remember one night we were there, they did roll out the barrels, and I forget who was the leader of the crew. They did roll out the barrels, and we actually went out the front door and down Larimer Street.
Yeah.
and it was because we never did that on Bourbon Street, right? Which actually was pretty good. Could have been fun, but that would have drawn a crowd. But they said we're going outside. I said what? And it was March, and it was colder than hell in Denver. And then I remember the other thing that was most interesting to me, and that whole area is now very well developed because of Coors Field and stuff. But there was a Denver cop working the door. He said, if you guys go outside, first of all, he said, are you guys new here? And we said, yeah. He said, well, let me tell you how to stay alive. He said, if you go out and you go 2 blocks down Larimer Street to 17th Street, or you go a block off of Larimer, just 1 block, he said, the odds of you coming back are slender at this point in time because that area was really a shitty area. The only good block was the 1 block on Larimer where the Mustache was. And I thought that was quite interesting that the cop told me that if you want to stay alive, don't go too far from here. It made me feel real safe.
Wow.
And Mike was a great host. We had a lot of fun. The St. Patty's Day parade on the fire truck with way too much beer for everyone, and all sorts of stuff. He was a great host.
Yeah, he was a great host. That was very nice of him.
Yeah, that's where I started my career, was at that club. And you're right, there was only 1 block. And Mike Gentry, probably Mike Johnson too, we would go down into that dark area you're talking about. There was a couple of strip joints and places where we could get 35 cents for a glass of wine. So
only the best.
Mike was always, an adventurer.
Was it Thunderbird?
Yes, he was.
Curious.
Yeah, probably was.
Mad Dog 2020.
Yeah.
In recent years, Mike sat in with Jim and I at some of the places we played. He sat in frequently.
This picture kind of tags onto the one where they had the name tags on with the Bash by the Bay. There was a caption on the top of this thing, Mike J. Bash by the Bay.
Okay.
And it looks like Peter Babcock playing with him. So that,
There's Mike.
I don't know who the rest of the guys are, but that's probably where they got their little tags from and all.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting how the Mustache Band's kind of just morphed and blended in with other groups and such and kept playing,
Well, Mike kept playing with Joe Petrocelli and the Mustache Band from the time they started. He was part of the band, after the Mustache closed.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they were still going strong. Like I said, last year I was playing with them at the Evergreen Jazz Festival, and Mike was not able to make it, although he let us know. Normally he would have been there because he was there every year they played.
Did you ever play with them at the Bull and Bush?
Oh yeah. As a matter of
I
fact,
used to go down and see him occasionally.
as a matter of fact, my band started the bands at the Bull and Bush. It was me, Bill Clark, Dennis Condrey, and Buck Kelly. Do you remember Buck Kelly?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Buck Kelly. And then we had a piano player named Jake Martin.
Yep.
And we got into playing at the Bull and Bush. We started that in 1973. And they just recently stopped having bands because, one of the owners, one of the twins, Dean, passed away about a month ago. So that's gone. And the young kids, of course, they don't want the band. But oh yeah, that was it. And then the Mustache Band would play there. They had live music every Sunday night. But we started it basically with a Mustache Band. We just called ourselves Solar Energy. And we got that name from playing frisbee in the park. We figured we were solar powered.
I remember playing one time.
Sounding comfort powered?
Well, the other thing was we got free steins of Guinness Stout to play there. So aside from getting paid, we could drink as much as we could, line the steins up there, and
I remember playing with Jake Martin one time, and Mike, and down at the Cat House called the 5 o'clock downtown Denver.
Oh,
Yeah, I used to play with Jake at Shakey's. And we're still here.
Yeah, Barry, you said you made some money when you were heading up north. You had to make a few bucks to buy gas, and you worked at Shakey's or something like that.
Yep, sure did. Pulled in.
Well, here's another picture of
oh,
There
Bob
he is.
Kramer, Mike Johnson.
yeah.
Yeah, Bob Kramer and Mike Johnson.
That looks like 87.
Yeah, that was the 87 reunion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Franny Smith was just calling me.
Again, okay. Well, here's a little video clip from upstairs at the 50th reunion when the band would get up and jam. See if it sounds good. Let's see.
I'm still not satisfied.
Speaking of Franny Smith, Tom, that was him right in the middle with the mustache singing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was sitting next to Joel, opposite the band.
Yeah. There was that guy, the bald-headed guy that was shooting pictures in the front. That's where we were wondering
Right.
what happened to all those photos. Yeah,
Yeah, was that Peter's son, you think?
it didn't look like him. Yeah, but yeah, we were wondering what happened to all those pictures because he was all over the place with the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you were asking me earlier about Point Pleasant and who got mad, Bill or Barry Rank, and Barry Rank was not happy because he worked with Neil DeFeo during the week, and then he had to work with me. That was a big shift.
Yeah.
Because DeFeo was just a monster of a player. Still was then.
Yeah.
He looked like a monster of a player at Joel's funeral.
Still got it. Still got the chops.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where he got them from.
Let's see.
Neil and I had a bungalow, not a bungalow, a house that we were in Neptune, New Jersey that whole summer. And we would drive up to Point Pleasant to play in the club. It was a great gig.
Yeah, when you say drive, you drove and
Oh yeah, and he directed. I called him Maps because he couldn't drive. We bought the car together, but he couldn't drive, and he would hold the map up to his face, let this close, and he would go, "Okay, we got to turn left, turn left." He was a character. He still is a character.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like having one of those Siri maps, but different.
Didn't you buy some kind of fancy old car that went about 2 blocks and stopped?
Yeah, we bought a 1957 Lincoln Continental, and as I said, it went about 100 feet, and then it just died right there. And so I walked back with the keys to the lady who had sold it to us, and they said, "I want my money back."
Well, it needed gas.
Yeah, it's probably a full tank only got you 100 feet.
That was it. And then we bought a 1953 Chrysler Windsor Deluxe, which got us through the whole summer.
Right.
And then at the end of that summer, I went up to Montreal to go to the World's Fair because we had done a promo for the World's Fair the year before that. Do you remember that, Kim, when we went?
Yep.
And so I went up there to actually experience it, but I didn't like the fair itself. So I drove up to Quebec, and it was like just being in Paris. It was great, and it was really a French atmosphere. And I stayed there for the time that I had, and then I was trying to drive back, and the car made it about 60 miles from Quebec, and then I had to leave it at a garage there and take a bus home. So it's still sitting up there somewhere between Quebec and Toronto.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There he is.
There's Peter. Good.
Great picture.
Love that picture.
He could have been in the
That's a
Blues
good
Brothers. He could have been in the Blues Brothers with outfit.
Yeah.
He always had a beard. I never saw him without a beard.
Oh yeah.
Now, I have a picture of him without the beard. He has the really good handlebar, but always a mustache at least.
Always.
Let's see.
He'll be missed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet guy.
Snake started telling you about a gig we've done.
Here he is without the beard.
Oh, this is a good one. You can see him.
Oh yeah, okay. Just the mustache.
Yeah, and I got a good close up of his face. But he had it on his Facebook page. His mustache really
That's H on the trombone, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. There he is.
There it is. He had to use his turn indicator when he turned with that mustache on, so he didn't hit people. Yeah, well, we miss you, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm glad he looked forward to the meetings. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said when I was seeing him in the final days, he said that was one of the highlights of his life. His daily life was the Zoom on Thursdays. You know, I was off. I wasn't on quite a while. He kept calling me and said, "You got to get your ass on there." I said, "All right." So I'm glad I did. But it was. He said, you know, it's. He said that brightened up his day and his week.
I'm glad it did.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I gotta go.
Okay, Barry.
Oh yeah.
All right, Barry.
Tom and Bill, y'all did a nice job for our little.
Thanks.
Very
We're going
good.
to try next
Yeah.
week. I got to talk to Billy, so we'll let you know on Tuesday because I got to go
Yeah, I
too.
gotta run. I'll see y'all.
All right.
Good seeing you guys.
Barry.
All right, take care.
guys.
Take care,
Hey,
Barry.
take care.
Say hi.
Dottie. Okay.
See you.
Yeah.
Next week, I got to Maryland by working at Maryland Public TV, and the guy who hired me is retiring, and I'm supposed to go to his retirement party at
Who's that, Tom?
George Beneman.
Okay.
I think he's the longest PBS employee. He's been there 55 years.
Oh my God. Whew.
Just bring your iPhone. You can Zoom from there and show us what you're doing.
Well, that's what I was thinking about doing.
I'll take care of it, Tom.
Okay, we'll talk. Anyway, another week gone by. Thanks a lot, guys, for coming.
Okay.
Another week. Thanks for you guys for hosting. Hey, Billy, I'll put some, if I find more pictures, I'll put them in a different folder.
Okay. Now I just have to go through your video files and convert them to something we could use, and I'll have some next week.
Thanks for playing that video earlier. Really
Yeah.
appreciate that hard work that you go through.
Oh yeah. I have a lot of videos. I'm going to put them all in a Google Drive, and anybody that wants to access them can just take a look at them. You know.
Right.
And I know Chris has a bunch of stuff on his YouTube channel too.
By the way, on YouTube, if you check out Your Father's Mustache, the Denver group, you'll see Mike Johnson and Joe Petrocelli and some of the mustache guys playing there.
Great.
So they've got some good videos.
Great.
That's good.
I haven't had
Also, all the YouTube has all of the Zooms that we've done for the last 5 years. And every week I put a link to last week's Zoom. And with that, you should be able to get to all the other Zooms that are there.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can see Mike then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and you can go back about 4 years and you can it's when John was on and
Jeff.
John and Jeff. I swear I would start the Zoom and shut up and Jeff would talk for an hour.
Jeff was amazing.
Jeff and John, man, they were great.
Mhm.
You know, when I first met Jeff, when I was working in Jersey, and I'd go up and play New York on Friday night and go with Jeff up to Lake Compounds, he looked like Salvador Dali. He had
That's
the
right.
mustache that went up
That's
the
right.
side.
Yeah, you did indeed.
Honest to God, it's just Salvador Dali playing the banjo. He was a character.
Quite.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny guy.
All right, guys. Cooking time.
Started.
See you next
All
week.
right.
If we do it.
Yeah, me too.
Again,
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks
Thanks.
for coming in.
Be well.
Okay.
Be well.
All right.
all.
See you guys.
Just remember,
Bye, everybody.
we're all here because
with
we're
your
not all
head.
there.